Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the panel discussion of the Age of Digital Literacy. We're delighted to have you join us for this very important discussion. This panel offers a unique opportunity to explore the powerful interaction of digital literacy, women's empowerment, and educational development. The British Council's Action Research Program is a powerful catalyst for positive change. Within education, it empowers teachers and school leaders to drive meaningful improvements in key areas like leadership, teacher development, technology integration, and ultimately student outcomes. This program fosters a vital culture of continuous professional development and innovation within our educational community. Through its initiatives like this, that we can address world challenges and achieve demonstrable progress in learning. British Council Action Research Program awards up to £2,500 of grants to successful applicants in Pakistan. And Pakistan has successfully demonstrated its commitment to educational innovation. We're incredibly proud to share that we have received the second highest number of submissions globally, with 54 recipients and nationwide. And this year, we're especially delighted to celebrate 2 successful grants recipients, one from Aitchison College and the other from BVS Parsi School. Their projects and others supported by Action Research Program are instrumental in fostering crucial skills like digital literacy, particularly among women. Digital literacy is no longer optional. It's a fundamental requirement for navigating the modern world and achieving social and economic development. This panel will showcase how Action Research Program is directly contributing to its vital area. We're privileged to have with us today a distinguished panel of British Council Action Research Grant winners. These individuals have dedicated themselves to exploring and addressing complexities of digital literacy within their schools and communities. They will be sharing their invaluable experiences, key research findings, and tangible impact of their projects. I'm eager to hear their insights, and I know you will be too. Let's begin by introducing our panelists. Our first panelist, Ms. Aisha Shehzadi, Action Research Grant recipient of 2023. Aisha is the first recipient from Pakistan. Her research focused on developing middle learner skills in using smart board technology and engaged outreach communities. Aisha is an educationist with 14 years of experience dedicated to fostering inclusive and empowering learning environments for students, teachers, and communities. Starting her career as a teacher and currently serving as the vice principal at Tall Pines School, she has consistently demonstrated a commitment to integrating technology and nurturing a love of learning, particularly among children from marginalized communities. Aisha is deeply passionate about leveraging education as a power tool for social change and actively shares her experiences and insights to inspire positive impact in the education sector. Our next panelist, Action Research Grant recipient of 2024, Ms. Sara Ahmer from Aitchison College. The current recipient who is searching the integration of AI in the classroom, designing adaptive lessons with generative AI to meet diverse learning preferences to create a more inclusive and learning environment. Sara Ahmer is an art educator, designer, and researcher with over 20 years of experience in education. As head of art and design department at Aitchison College, Lahore, she has reshaped art education by integrating digital technology in the classroom and encouraging practical, hands-on learning through initiatives like the widely renowned Art and Performing Arts Festival. Her research on generative AI-powered adaptive plans addresses diverse learning needs and champions inclusivity in learning. Beyond education, Sara has also curated several well-received art exhibitions, further showcasing her commitment to fostering creativity. Thank you for joining us today. We are really excited about this panel discussion and think you'll provide some fantastic insights. Our audience is definitely looking forward to about hearing your research, and we know that you will inspire them too.
Thank you. Amra. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Just want to add in something that I latest got to know, that I am going towards the journey of becoming a Cambridge examiner now, and I'm in the formal training of that. So, thank you.
Wonderful. So we'll start with our first question. I'll direct the question to you, Ms. Aisha. Recognizing the growing importance of digital literacy in our rapidly evolving world, what motivated you to undertake this Action Research initiative? And how did you learn about British Council Action Research Program?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you, Namra, for my introduction. Well, I was born and brought up in Dubai. I completed all my formal education over there. Then I got married all the way into Sheikhupura and right into a village in Sheikhupura that's hardly recognized. Now, coming from a background like that, when you're put into a community that's so marginalized, it's shocking how much you can give up on your beliefs and ideas and the things you're capable of. And I remember when I first received this email about the Action Grant Research Program, I looked at it and I just closed it. And then my principal and my mentor, she came up to me the very next day and she was like, "Oh, did you see that email?" I was like, yeah, I did. And she's like, "What about it? Would you like to take part in it?" And I was like, "Look, so many people are going to try doing this. Nothing's going to happen. Leave it." And she was like, "Nahi, try to karo." I just filled in the requirements, I sent it. Guess what? I got accepted into the next round. I was shocked. Because, you know, places like these, despite being in a branch school, they have a way of sucking all the energy out of you. You know you've been trying all this time, people don't listen, and you give up. So that kind of boosted me a little. And I remember then, after the interview program got over, we kept waiting with our fingers crossed, and I told Naila, you know what, if this happens, this is going to be epic. It's going to be a game changer. So yes, this is how I actually learned about it. She put me into it, she told me to do it, and we did end up being the first ones getting selected. That was absolutely incredible. I wanted to make a change, and something had just started.
Thank you, Aisha. Sarah, I would like to know your thoughts about how do you find about Action Research?
So, of course, I am a part of Aitchison College, and Aitchison College is one community where we do get to hear all the opportunities that British Council gives forward, and it comes to all the teachers. And then this becomes like a competitive field, and a really competitive field for everyone. And as a result, everyone is at the same forum, and they were given the same opportunity. And a lot of them did, try to come up with ideas. But I think it was one collaborative work, getting down with my department together. And then, of course, at that time, my principal, she encouraged me totally, and she has to endorse it too. And as a result, it was one step after another from giving interview. We had to go through the whole interview process also, and that's how I got to know that I got it. But I must acknowledge the way that I had no idea how big it was until very much later, that when Amanda Ingham came in, and along with you, yes. All of you came in, the way you people actually told me that out of a pool of almost, a lot of schools all over the world, and how 165 countries are part of the whole British Council community, and how much of a big deal it was, and you people made it more special for me. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I would like to direct this question because you are working on the research of AI in the classrooms. What role do you see for women educators in shaping the digital future? And secondly, how do you think initiatives like this, and especially British Council, would amplify women's roles in research?
Okay, before I step into that, I just want to let everybody know what my research is actually about, how did it start, and how did I come up with this idea. So the idea actually came about of me being an art and design teacher. And while we're teaching, and in my 22 years of teaching career, I have noticed that we teachers use this formula of using that one fits all, and then we come into the class and we give a lesson to everybody, not realizing that there are a couple of students within the classroom who might not be able to understand what and the methodology that I'm using, that they understand it. And as a result, it becomes a much more time-consuming exercise because out-of-class teaching then starts happening. And then I need to make those students understand whatever So that's how the whole idea came about, understanding the fact that there are multiple intelligence that exist within our brain, and everyone has their own way of conceiving information and retaining it. So there might be a linguistic, a kind of an intelligence person. There might be one which is a kinesthetic learner. And I need to be addressing different kinds of abilities. There might be might have a couple of them in them which are enhanced, and some might have less of them in something else. One might be a learner who likes to learn visually, especially. So, I mean, those kind of learners need to be addressed to, and as a result, whatever existingly we are teaching, that's how AI comes in. And then AI helps us adapt our lessons in such a way that every type of learner is catered to. So that is how the whole journey started. And then let's talk about what you asked from me, and that was in regard to women. So part of my research is that almost 80% of the people who are with me are women educators. And I have seen over the time period that these women have played a pivotal role for my research to become successful. The way they have taken out time and understanding the fact that we are living in this Pakistani culture where we have to understand that they not only are being professionals, but they are expected to be hands-on in their households, taking care of their kids, and at the same time supporting me as a researcher, supporting us together. So these women have come together really, and the way they have responded to my research, it's overwhelming. So, I mean, that's about it. Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming towards Aisha. Aisha, how do you feel? How important is the woman role in forming the digital literacy and leading up front? And secondly, how British Council, with such initiatives, can help amplify women's role?
I'm going to second Sarah when she says that almost 80, perhaps more percentage of females are the ones who are actually teaching. Now, LGS is a brand school. We all know that. And in a community like ours, it's really hard to find teachers who are actually really willing to do something. Now, we have people who have had around 18 years of experience and with no digital application in the classrooms. And then we also have inclusivity issues. So we have parents coming up to us and telling us things like, you know what, even in grade 3, we don't want boys and girls sitting together. Could you please separate them? So we've been facing stuff like this. So their role, their understanding, their education is absolutely important, all right? If teachers are not convinced that they can make a change, then there's going to be no change, no matter how much you try to implement stuff like that. So I think it's quite important. Their awareness, their abilities, and them being able to understand that, yes, they are there to do something. So that's absolutely important. Now, when we talk about smart board technology in the classrooms, it might not seem much at this platform at this point in time, because there are many schools that are doing it. But when I talk about Sheikhupura, I know there is no other school working on something like this. If it is there, It's not being used, trust me. And then we have the other issue in which there is a cultural mindset that boys should be having digital gadgets in their hands and girls are not allowed to have them. So there's been this experience of mine in which there was this child in grade 4, Irmab Wasif. I still remember her, and I'm taking her name because I've taken consent. She's a brilliant child, A star. She came up to me when we put this setup up, and she told me, is this going to continue forever? This was a science class we were talking about, an integrated classroom with games and whatnot. And she told me, is this going to continue? And I was like, wouldn't you like that? It's really fun, isn't it? She said, yes, but aren't we going to go back to the classrooms and learn in our conventional ways anymore? That made me sad. I said, why do you say so? She said, you know, Mama says that this is not a class, this is just fun time. So it's going to continue for a day or two, and that's just it. And that's sad. And that's when I got to know that, see, these are the mindsets we don't think might be there. We assume that, you know, teachers are going to take it up really well. We assume the parents are going to understand. Doesn't really go that way.
Perfectly said. Which brings me to the next question, challenges. What challenges did you find while conducting your research? And specifically because you have initially shared that having an experience from learning from Dubai and then coming to Sheikhupura on an outreach location. So what differences, and obviously they're going to be significant, what challenges and specifically any differences between the metropolitan areas and the outreach areas?
Resources. Resources matter. Apart from that, it's the cultural mindset of the people. It's really difficult bringing in change like that and then at such a big level. So we had to start really small. I remember when my mentors came in and I told them, you know what, I want to make a change. I want to change 600 people. I want to give them access to digital technology. I want them to have inclusive classrooms. I want to put in all 45 teachers. They told me, tone it down. And I was like, I can do it. I was wrong, and they were right. I literally had to start with 15 teachers. Even they wouldn't come. They wouldn't listen because it was extra work. And then I said, all right, at least grades 4 to 7, all students. They said, no, you bring that down too. I started with a classroom of 20 children and 5 teachers who would actually listen. And even then, only one teacher took the initiative, and she was my friend. Once that started, well, then it went on. It went out very well. What I'm trying to say is there is a problem. You need to change people. Change is super difficult. Resources are important. If you don't have them, it's not going to work. And then a shoulder to cry on. Absolutely necessary. So the British Council has really helped in this regard. My mentors were absolutely wonderful women, Siri and Kathleen. They had so much trust in us. They kept listening. They kept hearing us out. They kept giving suggestions, and that worked. I think this is a beautiful thing British Council is working on, and I think it needs to spread even more than it has already. It's a chain that has begun. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Sarah, coming towards you, what challenges did you specifically face engaging your fellow teachers?
Okay, so looks like Aisha was telling my story, very similar, in the sense that, of course, one starts off when they've got this as something that we can bring about such a huge change. But of course, the basics of the basics is to change the mindset of the people. Most of them they feel shy with the word AI. It kind of makes them as if they want to hide it, as if there's something wrong with using it, as if they tell anybody that they're using it, it'll be considered as a taboo. So, I mean, to finish that misconception initially with the administration first, and then with the teachers, in itself was a challenge. Just to kickstart my entire research, just to start it off. But it took a little bit of time, but by the time I was done with it, the whole research has taken an immense turn, and the amount of overwhelming amount of teachers who are part of my research now, and who are basically, I am just done with the training program in collaboration with LUMSX, and they graciously came forward. And again, they were a woman of team who came forward, and they personalized the entire cohort for me. It was a month-long cohort, and where teachers got training in talking about, initially talking about what is generative AI, then the tools, what kind of tools they are, and then later on, the implementation of those tools. And of course, the most important thing is prompt engineering, the way one gives prompts to AI, and then what kind of data can be taken back. So, I mean, all of this, after, of course, it was a really, really intense training program, because every step of the way we were tested and we were quizzed. So we had to read. But it changed the entire perception of the school, because I took in teachers from the junior section, I took in teachers from the middle section, and from the senior, I belong to the senior section. And then there are 2 other schools that lie within our school also. Therefore, mostly the custodian staff, children study there. One is the campus boys school, and the other is the campus. So taking in teachers from there also changed my perspective on how much they have to prove. So it was like a challenge for them, that they need to prove in front of all the teachers that we are doing. Of course, they have a totally different pool of students that are coming to them, and they took on the entire challenge. And as a result, now the whole thing has shifted onto the entire school, how each teacher that I've taken from each department is now training their own teachers in the use of AI. So this, of course, cleverly kind of managed it so that it impacts the entire school, but this took off a lot of time of mine. So time was one of the biggest challenge, but we must realize that at the end of the day, we're using AI to save time, and that was one that I overcame a lot with, and it really helped me that way.
That's incredible. Talking about challenges and engaging such a wider community, your fellow teachers, and obviously all the other obstacles that come around your way, how do you think British Council have supported you throughout your journey? And what more we can do to support furthermore researchers into coming to such programs?
One thing that we must realize is that that actually, when one is stepping into it, they have no idea that they are being supported, mentored, every step of the way. Initially, I had no idea that I'm going to be jumping into this, and I thought I'm going to be doing this on my own, and I'm just going to submit it by the end, my findings. But actually, it was totally opposite of what I had assumed. So they start off right from the beginning of who you are, how do you recognize yourself. I mean, they just wanted to know that initially. And then we are expected to reach the deadlines. Then, of course, we're supposed to present all of that. Then we get our feedback back on that. So in all this entire process, I can imagine the amount of time that is being consumed by the British Council team, which is special mention to Kathleen and Sirin, the lead mentors, and of course my younger mentor, who is Mava, who is part of Aisha's cohort. And so all of them come together and give opinions on how my progress is going, and they listen to me. I mean, I really thought that whatever opinion they give, I'll have to follow it. But usually, sometimes I do say I'd like my research to go in such a direction, and they do listen to me, and they try to move into such a direction which is a middle ground. So that makes me really comfortable for the amount of support that I'm getting. For every step, for every small little step, They're there. I mean, things like if I want a certain thing, for example, I wanted something to be conveyed to my school, and I thought that me saying it wouldn't be effective enough, so I reached out to the head of the Action Research, Thomas, and he was kind enough to draft an entire email to find that solution for me. So, I mean, I feel really supported. I don't feel like that I'm floating in the air and I'm going to fall down in. I do not have this feeling, that, which is exactly what you need, actually. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
I'll add a little bit over here now. Being one of the pioneers, we didn't have so many mentors at the time. It was just Siri, it was just Kathleen. And when they were trying to get us on board with everything and they were trying to explain things to us, what was happening is that they were also creating all these little forms along the way just to help us out write a whole research. You know, when you have to write a research paper, that in itself is something. You cannot just put anything and everything in it. It's got to have some sort of, you know, a pattern so that it is understandable for others. They would keep helping us out even then. And going through all the thick and thins together, I know how towards the end of March we had our last session, and we were all in tears, all 12 researchers. And at that time, when Thomas told us, when they told us that, yes, you get to be mentors if you want next year, that was absolutely lovely. Because we knew then, okay, we are not going to leave this journey now that it's done. We'll continue. And it's absolutely amazing to see this year's researchers and how they are even bigger than we were. So we were the beginners, and something amazing has started. So when you ask Namra, okay, what has British Council done? They've done everything they could to help us out, and that's incredible.
Sarah, although you have explained about your research, but my question would be, what were the key insights, key findings? And in relation to that, but you start with one point and then you go towards the other, how has it changed your perspective, and what has it been, and how has it been a learning point for you?
Yes, one person, when they start off their research, it's usually your own perception of what one is perceiving. Okay, this is how things are operating in a school system. This is how teachers, basically, this is how teachers think, and this is what teachers are doing. But those are just my perceptions. But when you start off with the research, you have to actually go deep down. You have to sit with the teachers, you have to do focus groups with them, you have to interview them, you have to take some sort of questionnaires, and that becomes like a turning point for you, an eye-opening for you. Okay, oh, what you were thinking, it's not like that. I mean, it's really not. And one of the key points what I learned was that I was assuming that the teachers knew about differentiated learners within the classrooms. They knew that they existed. Now, I got to know through my findings that 75% don't even know, they do not acknowledge the fact that multiple intelligences sit in a classroom setting. So I had to tweak my research a little bit, because of course, then I had to educate the teachers in regard to that, and especially in regard to HSN College. Now, that is a place where students come from all type of cultural backgrounds. They might be students from Sindh, interior Sindh. They might be students from Karachi also. And then you'll find students from Quetta. But at the same time, there are a lot of students from Hunza too. So multicultural systems are being operated within the environment at HSN College. At the same time, there are multiple intelligences, and we need to consider all of this. We need to be sensitive towards how, culturally sensitive towards how we teach in a classroom. We just can't simply be cracking jokes culturally about as teachers. So the teachers needed to be educated that ways, and then the whole AI training started.
Yes.
So at the same time, so I kind of mixed both of them together so that they get to know about this also, and then they start applying it within their lessons, and then, first creating the lessons, and then applying into their lessons also. So that's about it.
Thank you, Sarah. Aisha, your research is completed, and your research has been like displayed. It was featured on the Action Research Grant Symposium this December. I would like to know what were your research key insights, and how did it transform your learning on the way?
All right. Initially, when you begin, you've got to sign a contract, and they tell you you've got to collaborate with others. Oh, that collaboration part. So when I say that we started with 5 to 6 teachers and a class of 20 students, my key insight is collaboration is absolutely necessary, because now we've reached 4,000 kids. We've reached 200 teachers, and that's made all the difference. So when they say you've got to collaborate, I can see why they say that. So that's my one key insight, that this is what was in their mind. They wanted it to spread out. Secondly, change is super difficult. Everybody knows this. Don't assume people know things. Sarah has already said that. I've seen that firsthand. We assume people will like what we are doing. We assume that the school administration is going to be super happy with what we are doing. It's all about their school. No, it is not like that. We assume parents are going to take it very happily. Oh my God, interactive classrooms. No, they do not take it well. But we need to understand that the goal was to help children. That's what we've been doing. The goal was to help the educational community grow. That's what we've been doing. Once it's not about us and it is about them, it is far easier to work with. So this was my key insight.
Aisha, my next question would be again focused on your research and how particularly this in outreach settings has influenced practices within your schools, within your community, and how has that impacted the students' outcomes?
When I say that we had to change the mindset of the children and the parents, of course we didn't do it the way they wanted it. We changed our strategies. So I wanted children to do better in their tests, especially in science and English, right? And I saw that parents were not very happy with what I was doing. So I designed tests and quizzes that they would have to do online with us. And through that, I promised parents that the test scores would improve. So this was just the way, this is the only thing parents want. Marks aane chahiye ji. So the marks came. So they were happy with that. They took it well. Other than that, I've noticed there are so many other people who have that spark and who, like me, thought, ki ji, nothing is possible, not over here, not in Shekhupura at least. The people over here are just too backwards. They're not. There are so many people who want to do something. It's mostly women who want to do something. And this has truly helped. I've seen incredible work. Yesterday, one of my fellow teachers who was in the focus group with me, she shared some pictures with me. I have now moved on to a better workplace. It was good too before that. It's more like I was just a coordinator then, now towards vice principalship, so it's already lovely. She shared pictures and she said, look, this is the legacy you left behind. Look at the work I'm doing now. So that's beautiful.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Coming to you, Sarah, how this has impacted like your school culture, school outcomes, student outcomes, teachers' development, how's the attitude of teachers changed, and what noticeable effect it has, like you have already mentioned that you are working with women, so how it has eventually affected, improved women's empowerment.
So I'm going to take on whatever Aisha was saying, and just the way, it seems like a lot of stories that she keeps on saying, they're just different names, but same stories. So I'd like to name one of my teachers. I took permission from her. Her name is Faria. She's a biology teacher. And she was just telling me one of her findings yesterday, that what she did was actually that she took the assessments of the students, whatever they had performed, and she uploaded it on the AI tools. And then she, through the AI, the AI basically gave a detailed assess dialogue with what is wrong, what is not wrong, and those dialogues were then given to the students, and the entire class was then about not teaching, but whatever they had done before, their exam pieces, and their discussion about that. Then, after some time, about a week or two, she then gave another exam to the students, and then she told that a significant change in the performance of the students had come about. And she's talking about A-level students. So A-level students are listening to the feedback that was given through AI for their initial papers that they had given. And then later on, one can see the significant difference. I mean, she was talking about how one of her D students came to a C grade. Even that's good enough. Again, it's all about grades, because at the end of the day, this is whatever Aisha is doing, whatever I am doing, we are doing it for, agar hum superficially, if we want to look at the whole thing, it's all about grades. But yet, of course, more of my aim is that students become lifelong learners. They should know how they learn best. So it's happening within our schools, then it's happening in all the 3 schools, and then you've seen it's happening within our campus schools also. So as a result, I can already see that we've got almost 3,500 students within our school, and then the campus schools have more than 600 to 700 students each. So I mean, I've already started impacting these large number of students who are going to be taking benefit from this research. So that's about it.
Incredible. Now, Aisha, coming back to you. You're working with a global community. You have had access to our global moderators and global panelists. But how has this been an experience for you? How British Council Action Research Grant, being a global community of researchers, has enhanced your professional growth, and how has it positively impacted your school?
It's an eye-opener, all right. When you look at what people are doing around the world, what they want to do, what they hope to achieve, it is incredible. Right now, I'm just going to mention 2 of my mentees, Chenedu, and he's from Africa, and Kaushalya, she's from Sri Lanka. Both have their own strengths. The researchers they were working on, it's providing me a lot of insight. It gives ideas. You think about, oh, this is something I should be working on too. Now, for instance, there is mindfulness techniques that could be incorporated. We do talk about it, but do we really incorporate it at that level? So looking at how that's being done, that's beautiful, it's phenomenal. Then CPD for 15, 16 schools at once, and how to help teachers grow. Now, these are the researchers that my mentees are working on, but I now know about it too. At the same time, there are all those other mentors with me. They talk about their research, they talk about the research of their mentees, and it keeps giving you a global access to all these people who are working on different things at such an incredible level. So yes, it does change. And then I did mention that I was just a simple coordinator at the beginning, and I've grown so much now, alhamdulillah.
I mean, the amount of the larger platform that British Council has given, it's overwhelming, but at the same time, in a good way. I mean, the other researchers that are alongside with me, and when they are presenting their findings, when they are talking about their work, one is getting inspired too, and how I then start sharing their stories within my school settings, even if I'm sitting casually, maybe in a staff room. So, I mean, sharing of stories is going to make us into better educators, into educators that maybe take on one of those stories and try to implement them within the classroom. And that's how you try to bring about a global change. The more you interact at a global level, the more you get to know other cultures and what kind of issues they're having, how similar they are to ours. and then how it's going to impact us also. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to be at a platform of being a trainer to be able to learn, but listening to your own fellows is in itself a big learning. That's it, I think.
Lastly, I would like to know, first, Aisha, I would ask this to you. What advice would you give to women who aspire to lead innovation projects in their schools? And how can they make the most of the opportunities provided by British Council?
Don't wait for the opportunity to come. If you think there's something that should be done, your gut is telling you to do it, your intuition is telling you to do it, you want to do it, do it. Trust me, just jump into it. Just don't wait for a push. My mentor pushed me. There might be another one who wants to do something, and there might not be a mentor to push her or her in. Trust me. You want to do it, go ahead. Change will come.
Definitely, yes.
Sarah, coming to you.
I think in my case also, you just can't wait that some opportunity is going to land in your lap and then automatically you are going to be maybe at this forum or any forum for that matter, and things are just going to be given to you in a platter. Nothing like that exists actually. So it is only you yourself, within yourself, how motivated one is to take on these challenges. And then of course, we must not forget, you definitely need somebody within the working environment, somebody who is supporting you, somebody, again, who is a crying shoulder for you. So over here on this forum, I would like to name Gurutalen Heather. She is my mentor, support, and in every way. So she has always supported me. And so whatever issues I have, she is there. And I share whatever problems I'm having, and she gives me good advice. At the same time, she pushed me, I pushed her also, okay, you apply for the next one. And the same way she pushes me, okay, you've got it, now you step into it, and you don't be afraid if nobody's supporting you from here and there, but you can do it on your own. I'm here, I'm listening, okay, tell me what's happening, what's your next step? So, I mean, this is how we grow, women supporting each other. I think that's one thing that we must not forget from this forum.
Incredible. And speaking of the work that we do, British Council working with partner schools globally, it's a global network. We work with global partner schools around the world. And platforms like this, like we understand that this is Action Research Grant, which is one of our crucial partner school offers, but dedicating or linking it to the WOW Festival, the spirit of women of the world and women supporting women, is the actual line that we live by. Because it's not just us doing one thing for us, it's the women leading change in all forms and shapes. It's women supporting women. We hear stories, and obviously these inspiration stories every day, that how their mentors, being a mentor, being a mentee, and then taking that change and leading the way for other fellow researchers is truly inspiring. Thank you so much for your inspiring discussion. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. It's clear that your work has not only impacted your schools, but has also led the way for a global community. Before we close, I would like to open the floor for question and answer session. Yes.
I'm Ajaz. I'm mechanical engineer from NUST, and I happen to be in charge of few schools in remote part of Sindh in Panoakel. So it is very difficult to inspire and introduce AE-based assessments and other techniques. How in those areas in far-flung and God-forsaken areas, how to inspire teachers and students there?
First of all, I think one of the misconceptions that you usually have, that we assume that the teachers over there do not know what's going on in the world. They definitely do. You will find people who are willing to make a big change. Of course, and those teachers become as inspirational people for other people within their community. Like Aisha, for example. I mean, she's the biggest example that we have here. That she was the one who took the initiative, and now she's become an inspiration for so many other people here. So I think that's about it. Aisha, would you like to say something?
Use the OSS platform by the British Council, the online school support. It actually really works. When teachers realize that they get the understanding from a platform that is designed to work globally, in itself, it's a big thing. Then the incentive of receiving a digital certificate that goes with it and then being assessed with whatever is being taught, that's absolutely wonderful. That's for starters. Once they feel inspired and motivated, it just moves on from there.
The other thing is that I'd like to add to what Aisha said, that there are so many AI tools that one can use, and they are free. I mean, for example, the Khan Academy AI tutor, it personalizes the lessons for you. Nothing can get better than this. The student tells, for example, the student wants to learn algebra, but not the whole algebra chapter. He's struggling with one section, and he or she, sorry, I'm sorry. I mean, the student wants to be taught in such a way that they learn in a personalized way of maybe a small section and in a certain way. They want to be taught visually. They want to be taught giving demonstration or whatever. So the AI Khan Academy is going to do it for you. Now, but we must not forget that AI is not a replacement for educators. If we are confident and we accept the fact that this is here, our students are using it. If we, as educators, do not accept this, do not try and incorporate it within our teaching, learn about what's happening, this gap will keep on creating, and we will not be able to catch on to whatever the students are learning. So that's it.
Do we have any other questions?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Shazia Zahid from Crescent School, and it was incredible. Your success stories were beautiful.
Thank you.
And I would like to ask you that how many times you felt that your desired results are not, meeting, and how many times you just got back on the, with your full zest that you want to go for it. What made you that? What was that motivation which inspired you, which kept you going on? Thank you.
So Aisha, would you like?
All right. It kept happening over and over.
Yes.
And like we said, that there should be a person who understands and who talks back to you. What happened is that my mentors, they told this to us from day one, that it is not necessary that the objective you have in mind should be achieved. It is possible, because this is a research, that the things that you want might not even come around.
Yes.
All right, you've got to understand that. And I think that made it a bit more acceptable. Yes, there might be a possibility that if I'm looking for better results, they might not be there. So it might not work. Secondly, I think it was towards the ending of the research when it became very overwhelming. You've got to work with the exams. You're sending students off for their papers. It's just really difficult. And even then, your mentor telling you, no, you can do it. It's possible. It's towards the end. Just push yourself up. And then having all those other colleagues with you who are also researchers who had their own issues, some of them principals in Bangladesh, others vice principals, others coordinators, or just simple teachers, they are all having the same issues, ultimately. So when they are with you, they have the same tears and they tell you, no, we can do it. I think this is what makes you go around, and then, yes, it happens. During the end of my research, because this was only meant for science and English teachers, when the other teachers started coming in, we have the mathematics facilitator and the social studies teacher, and she was like, oh, we'd like to have a go at this. We'd like to try this too. Could you just tell us what's happening? I think this is where it all came around, and we were like, yes, we've done it.
So I'd like to continue of what Aisha said on, that undoubtedly it is a life-changing experience because the work is overwhelming, indeed. But yesterday, as the AI training concluded, the amount of messages that started pouring in and how they were, each and every educator at the forum was thanking me, of course, for giving them the opportunity to be able to do this. Now, these small little rewards, these rewards don't have to be monetary. They are just a few words that one is telling the other person that you've done a job well. And they're wishing me luck, and they're asking if they could be further on of any help. I mean, all the teachers yesterday, they came up to me and they were thanking me. And of course, when the day concluded, they started messaging into the groups. But at the same time, they were asking, okay, how can we help more? What do we do to help you more? Now, this is something that I wasn't expecting, because initially you're like, pehle to teachers hi nahi milte na, theek hai. Now you've got the teachers, but now they're saying, how can we be of help? So this in itself is so rewarding. So that's it.
Thank you so much, and thank you. I would like now to thank our Action Research Grant winners. Your dedication and commitment is truly inspiring, and thank you so much for working so hard towards improving the education. You are the testament of the power of research-driven change. And to give our little token of appreciation, we will be giving you some of panels, if it's ready? Yes. Okay. Sorry. And thank you so much for our audience for joining in, and you made it truly inspiring as well. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
Thank you so much, Namra.
Thank you, Namra. This was a wonderful forum to share our stories. Thank you so much. We can't be grateful enough.